everyone, my name is Ong Yee Hwa. Now I and my group member, which is Tey Yi Cheng, to present our pair assignment. Our title is How to Help the Employees Using Telephone Counseling. For the introduction, employee counseling has become one of the HR techniques to improve the performance and productivity of the employees, besides to improve the well-being of employees. Therefore, more and more companies have started to provide the counseling service to their employees. So in the workplace, employees with the problems of frequent absence, poor performance issues, interpersonal relationship problems, mental problems can refer to the counseling service provided by the organization. However, due to various limitations of face-to-face counseling, telephone counseling has now been introduced and widely used in today's organization. So what is the definition of telephone counseling? From the Sarasme in 2020, she stated that telephone counseling encompasses any and all psychological service performed over a telephone. However, from the Palm in 2013, he stated that telephone counseling is a technique of remedy and coping with the difficulties of patients with telephone. From this statement, we can know that the counselor used the telephone as one of the methods for the purpose of providing psychological service to assist and guide their client to face and solve the problem. The procedure of telephone counseling is quite similar with face-to-face counseling. In the beginning, the employee needs to arrange their telephone session and make an appointment with a counselor in order to ensure both parties are free at that time. After that, they are provided with a designated telephone number which they call at the pre-arranged time. So, from this, we can show that the telephone counseling is same with face-to-face counseling. The only difference is telephone counseling is conducted with telephone. The next slide is skill need to conduct telephone counseling. For the first point, which is active listening. Active listening is very important, especially for telephone counseling, which cannot identify body language and face expression of the client. So the counselor can only use observation of the client's voice tone and speed of talking during telephone counseling session. It is very important for a counselor to get a real message or clear understanding about the issue of the clients. The second is good verbal ability. It is very important for a counselor because it can help their client feel able to talk more and easy and gather more detailed information by appropriate use of questioning. And the last one is lead swiftly. As we can know, the silence during counseling session can encourage the client to speak about their problems without interruption, but sometimes silence between the counselor and client in the counseling session may cause uncomfortable situation for them. So the counselor should read swiftly to avoid gaps and awkward silence. So now we want to discuss the types of employees suitable in telephone counseling. For the first one, which is the employee who have struggling to express their issue in a face-to-face environment. It is because telephone counseling allows the identity of the counselor and client remain anonymous, so it can encourage the client to be open and explain more details about the problem with the counselor. From the result of the research from the Mimiaga et al. In 2017, use mobile phone as part of an HIV prevention strategy is very useful because face-to-face may present major challenges to Indian male sex workers, including travel costs, scheduling difficulties, and lack of anonymous. For the second one is the employee who have out of their schedule to attend a person. It is because some of the employees have dual career which they need to be busy with their family issues and children besides working. So even though they would like to attend a counseling session, but they don't have any free time to attend a counseling sessions because they not only need to manage their career, but also need to spend their time with their children at home after they have finished their work. So obviously, this telephone counseling is very suitable for them to attend a counseling session for seek a guidance from a counselor because this counseling session is performed with telephone at anywhere, even though they are accompanying their children in the home. For the employee who have language issues such as pronunciation and inadequate language proficiency are not suitable in telephone counseling. It is because the counseling does not have access to key visual information which can guide the employee during the telephone counseling session. Besides that, the counselor and client are not in the same room, and the counselor is not able to identify the face expression, emotion, and body language of the employee, so it may increase the difficulty of the counselor to control the situation during the telephone counseling session.
Next, we will discuss about the advantages of telephone counseling. So, how actually can telephone counseling help the employees? First of all, telephone counseling can help the employees from the aspect of time saving in attending the counseling session. As we know, nowadays people are always busy working in order to pursue material enjoyment and better life quality. Therefore, some of the employees may feel hesitant to take the counseling service provided by the company even though they suffer from mental problem, as they might think that it is a waste of time. So in this situation, employees can be benefited by the telephone counseling. This is because telephone counseling can provide employees with greater flexibility. By using telephone counseling, employees can choose a time when they are available to attend or complete a whole counseling session by just making a phone call. Obviously, by calling on the phone, employees are not restricted, and calling the counselor from employees' current location definitely will be much faster than heading to the place physically, right? Therefore, by telephone counseling, it can help the employees to save up the extra time so that they can use it to more focus on their job. Moreover, taking counseling by phone can also provide convenience to the employees. In traditional face-to-face counseling session, the employees who intend to attend counseling session can be affected when they are on trip abroad for work or when they are absent from the job. Normally, they need the counseling support the most at such time. Besides, in traditional face-to-face counseling, the employees would need to travel from their current location to meet the counselor personally in order to conduct the counseling session. Obviously, this is very inconvenient to the employees with physical disability to travel from one place to another. Therefore, by telephone counseling, the employees can straight away call the counselor without physically traveling to meet the counselor. This can thus provide convenience for employees and thus motivate the employees to continue to take on the counseling service provided by the company. In addition, according to a journal article of Introduction to Telephone Counseling, it stated that telephone counseling can provide greater anonymity to the employees. Indeed, privacy is the most important issue that employees concern the most. Nowadays, the level of acceptance towards the counseling service is still not common among the community. Generally, people often have a prejudice towards mental well-being issues, and they have a tendency to keep in private for their treatment. Therefore, in this case, telephone counseling can be helped, as by telephone counseling, employees are allowed to keep their face and other identity in secret. Other than that, telephone counseling is suitable for those employees who feel more comfortable in their private environments. This is because by telephone counseling, the employees can choose to call counselor at any places where they feel comfortable and private. They don't have to go to the counselor place as well as adapt the new environment to conduct the counseling sessions. This can help the employees to open up their feelings more easily and share their mental problems with the counselors. As a result, the effectiveness of counseling can be increased in a more positive way. As the saying goes, there are always two sides to every question. Even though there are many benefits for conducting counseling by phone, there are still some disadvantages in conducting the telephone counseling. One of it is that the trusting relationships may be hard to establish between counselors and employees. During telephone counseling, the counselors are working without the help and support of visual contact or visual communication. Moreover, by telephone counseling, the passing and conveying of complicated information over phone may be very challenging. This may then cause some of the employees feel hard to open up and thus making it difficult for the employees to develop trust in the counselors. In traditional face-to-face counseling, physical appearance gives a first impression of the counselor to the employees. The same goes to the voice in telephone work. Therefore, in this situation, to show that the counselor have enough understanding and empathy for the employees, the counselor should always keep a steady pace and use a gentle tone in their voice. Moreover, various limitations may arise between employees and counselors as both parties need to speak on the telephone and hold a handset for at least 50 minutes per session. Definitely, it can be physically tiring and uncomfortable for both parties. For instance, in the traditional phone usage, cradling the phone between shoulder and head, especially with extended phone usage, can result in neck pain and economic issues. Other than that, getting one hand busy with phone will inhibit the employee's normal expression, causing them hard to convey or express themselves and thus affect the progress of the counseling therapy. Therefore, in this situation, employees and counselors are encouraged to use the headsets or open the speaker under the premise of the phone call is making in a private environment. Apart from that, several major concerns in terms of risk, safety, and confidentiality also arise with the conducting of telephone counseling. According to Mark 2014, since the counseling is conducted by phone, there is a risk that the number they dial may be recognized no matter on the phone or telephone bills. Moreover, since the trusting relationship may be hard to establish between both parties through telephone, the employees may also worry that their privacy will be exposed to the company. For instance, the employees may feel stressed on work issues, but he or she may feel hesitant to share the problems to the counselors as they are afraid that the counselors might reflect the issues to the HR or management of the company and thus affecting the impression of management towards them. Therefore, upon admission, it is essential for the counselors to ensure that they are actually conducting the telephone work with intended employees and the information on the call is not listened to by others and are not being recorded. This is to ensure that the privacy of employees are being protected, thereby provide the confidence for the employees to embrace the telephone counseling services provided by the organization.
So now we want to discuss the effectiveness of telephone counseling. From the state et al. In 2013, the results showed that people receiving call-based counseling were more likely to have quit smoking than those who only sent self-help material or being given brief advice and support during the initial call. And the next one is the Bosman et al. In 2012. He stated that the phone group tends to do better than the internet group in terms of fat consumption and physical activity. And the last one is from Wade et al. In 2009, the telephone counseling is more effective than email counseling because it reduces body weight by 1.5 kg if counseling is done by phone and 0.6 kg if counseling is done by email. From these three research studies, the behavior change of the employee can be observed clearly through the telephone counseling. Overall, it can be seen that telephone counseling is effective in helping the employee, especially in the improving of their bad habits, such as quit smoking.
As a conclusion, it is essential for every organization to provide counseling services to the employees in order to ensure the well-being of the employees. There are a lot of counseling interventions that can be used to conduct the counseling therapy, and telephone counseling is one of it. Obviously, there are a lot of benefits that can be provided by conducting counseling over phone. For example, it can help the employees to feel more safe and more open to share their problems with the counselor, as calling on the phone can provide anonymity to the both parties. However, there are also some disadvantages in the conducting of telephone counseling, such as a lack of visual and physical interaction, causing physical discomfort, and so on. Therefore, both parties should try to overcome these challenges in order to ensure the counseling therapy can be conducted in a more effective way. Apart from that, from the researches of the journal articles cited, we get to know that the telephone counseling is effective in assisting the employees, especially in helping them to change their bad habits, such as quit smoking. In a nutshell, telephone counseling is very useful in helping the employees, and thus every organization is encouraged to adopt this kind of counseling service for the sake of well-being of the employees.